farmer, and he is the chairman of Efugo Farms. And perhaps we will remember, Chief, you're welcome. I believe, were you one time Minister of Agriculture or Telecom? It was communication, I'm sorry.
And then the steel industry.
Then you went to industry briefly.
Steel industry.
Steel industry. Okay. But today, Chief Aldobe is a farmer, a big-time farmer, and I had the pleasure of meeting him at various agricultural forums, such as the one that we're holding today. So, Chief, agriculture, how would you judge the pace? There's a revitalization, they call it, I believe, transformation. What is your own impression of what is going on in agriculture at the federal level? Let me speak specifically about the ministry, the current minister of agriculture, or by the current government.
I think I must say that he's confronting the issues very, very heroically. He's showing a great deal of intelligence, grappling with the many, many problems confronting agriculture. His budget is too small, especially because the federal government has no land apart from the capital territory. So he can only motivate and stimulate growth by many of his schemes, improve seeds and all kinds of support. The real action has to be with the states, because they have the land and they have that capacity which the minister, beyond the philosopher king leading the way, cannot go any further. But he's working hard. But there are still lots of problems because there is still no fund available for agriculture.
But we hear a lot about this, that there are funds from here, World Bank and so on.
Some of those funds come in, I do not know the details of how they are administered, but they are for stimulating certain crops. The problem with agriculture is that if you stimulate one sector and forget the other, the stimulated sector will come to grief. I'll give you an example. When they did the 200 billion commercial farmers loan, a bulk of that money went to poultry farmers because the banks want to see your turnover. You're selling eggs, you're selling chicken, you're making returns daily, and banks want to see that. But they forgot that the poultry sector cannot survive without the grain sector. Without maize, you can't feed your chicken, or maybe cassava. Without groundnuts, you have no groundnut cake to supplement the feed. Without soybeans, you don't have soybean cake to supplement the feed. And so the poultry industry rose and then crashed. And farmers had difficulties in paying. Striking the balance is a bit of a problem. And I think most of those loans may be in trouble now because the cost of feeds went up so high that many farmers lost money in the last 2 years. So that balance is an issue. And in spite of the fact that countries of Western Europe keep telling us not to subsidize agriculture, what they do is substantially different. They tell you they give support. I'll give you an example of groundnut farmers in the US. There are just 250,000 of them. They get a support grant of $4 billion a year. Whoa. And they do the same in every crop. Milk, maize, dairy and whatever. Cattle rearing and whatever. We don't do that here. Because since the structural adjustment program, we're told don't subsidize, don't do this, don't do that. And I think sometimes we have swallowed what they said without asking what they do.
And perhaps what we are subsidizing is the wrong thing anyway.
Yeah, well, subsidies are very small. A bit of fertilizer, for which subsidy has disappeared. I do not really know in what other area we're subsidizing. Maybe the seeds.
I was talking about the
petroleum.
Petroleum.
Well, yes, petroleum, yes, because if the refineries were working, if we had modular refineries in the creeks, small refineries with standard, perhaps the quantum of refined product at home would have increased, and the need for huge importation would have diminished.
We have serious infrastructure problems when it comes to agriculture. subsistence farming. We are talking about large mechanized farming and the issues, like you said, all the way from land ownership to the equipment, to storage, to even moving the goods out, to processing the goods, and so on and so forth. What would you, in a nutshell, what would be your own panacea? What would you
well, first of all, like I said,
as a solution?
First, we need a bit more mechanization, not complex machines. I mean, I was in Nebraska 2 months ago with a delegation, a state governor, and I went there. You see a planter on a farm in the US that can plant 15 rows of crop at once. You see a tractor that doesn't have an operator inside. It is tied to the GPS and floats around on its own automatically the whole day and comes to pack. We don't want to go that far, we can't manage them. But there are smaller machines in India and China which we can maintain here because our technicians are very good. We need them. Cassava planters, cassava harvesters, rice planters, maize threshers, sorghum threshers. These are even being built here by local manufacturers like Nova in Ibadan and some in Kaduna and Zaria and Lagos, which we can use because farmers need more support. There is nothing more tedious than manual agriculture. It breaks your back. The younger generation is not going to do it. And if they don't do it and we old men are going, the days of misery are coming. The days are coming when you can't find yam tubers because there's nobody there to make the yam heap. So we're now trying to import plows from the Ukraine that actually make yam heaps. I've been talking about this since 1982 when I was Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly in Benue. We need to keep thinking ahead and supporting the rural farmer with modest mechanization. And then we need to do rural roads. Maybe go back to the D-Free program, which IBB started, and we died when Abacha came in. Roads into the villages, well-graded roads, drainages and so on, to enable the farmer and even the buyer access the rural farm, collect the goods and bring to town. But funding is an issue. Like you heard Mr. Agbaje say, there is no money in the banks to support agriculture. These are the issues.
So, what is the hope for agriculture?
Well, we're working at it, we're talking, we're learning, we're changing strategy. Maybe not fast enough, but we can't stop talking. Many state governments have to do what your state government is doing. We need to meet and talk, and we need to realize that the problem is not solved by the talking, but by the implementation of what we say and decide. We tend to think that the seminar is the solution in some places. The seminar is only a support, a provision of material for the solution we seek.
Just said that.
Yes.
Let me bring it home, Chief. Ogun State Investors Forum, what do you think?
I'm very impressed with it. I mean, like nearly 40 industries settling here in the last 2 years. That's wonderful. That's what we need. We don't have all the capital to put in. People who have the money would like to invest where they think it is safe. And I think the leadership here is providing that avenue. The market is available. The environment is friendly. We need to see more. We need to keep attracting people to come in here and invest and create the wealth we desperately deserve.
Thank you, Chief. One, let me be a bit mischievous. Politics and business, how does that go?
It's very difficult.
How do they go? Sorry.
It's quite a sacrifice because if you are a farmer, when you go there, you don't like to leave. I go early in the morning, have some small meal in the afternoon, and by 6 o'clock, I still find it hard to leave the farm to go home. So when I find myself attending political meetings and hopping around, it's quite some pain because you need to be there. It's your dream, and it doesn't function particularly well if you're absent. By the way, in the US, you'll hardly see a farmer who doesn't live on his farm. So it's tough.
Demanding.
It's demanding, and then it's second nature. You enjoy it. It keeps you happy. You see the green stuff, and so on. But we try to combine the two. We hope to retire soon.
From the politics or
from the politics. We hope to retire soon.
Men of the press, would you like to ask Chief the
like he said, that brings me now to my current party's manifesto, which I chaired, the committee I chaired, and I said, just like what he said, we must provide 5 new development banks. The Bank for Construction and Mortgages, the Bank for Education, the Bank for Health and Social Services, and an energized Bank for Agriculture. And someday I hope that Nigerian farmers can create a bank of their own, like they did in Holland many years ago, the Rabo Bank. We've got to build our own bank. Otherwise, at current rates, we can't find money to support agriculture.
It wouldn't make sense.
Yes, we have to.
It wouldn't make sense.
Especially for young people like you who may want to go into farming in future. The interest rate cannot exceed 8%. If it does, don't touch it. You can't pay back. And you have no property in VI or Maitama to mortgage to the bank. Even if you had, I don't advise you to mortgage it, because you may not be sure to make a harvest and pay off the bank, and the stress will be too much for you. But yet we need you in there, because we have to replace me, a grandfather. It's you, the younger people, who have to do this thing, and do it well and profitably. But if you do, on 1 hectare of tomatoes, you could make $1 million a year, if it's a greenhouse. I'm not exaggerating. If you do 1 football field of tomatoes in a greenhouse, give you $1 million a year in income. But you need to invest first with your water system, your irrigation, your greenhouse, your trucks, and sound management. If you don't, you can't. That's the problem.
So tomorrow morning, please report to Farms. We would like to have you on.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I've been speaking to Chief Alvin Obi, and I'm sure a lot of us have learned from him. He's told us about his own impression about the going on in the agricultural industry or services sector in Nigeria. He's commended the efforts of the Prime Minister of Agriculture, but by his own estimation, there's still a lot to be done. There are some pieces that are not in place that will not end, that are still bottlenecks we need to deal with. Thank you very much for coming again, sir. We want to wish you a safe journey back, and from all of us at the Media Hub of the second Ogun State Investors Forum, I'd like to wish you a pleasant afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and once again, I'd like to welcome you to the Media Hub of the second Ogun State Investors Forum, taking place in the developing city of Abeokuta. This afternoon, I've got another guest with me. He is a fellow of the Lagos Business School, a senior fellow, I beg your pardon, of the Lagos Business School. He's an economist, he's an analyst, and he's also a public commentator of sorts. Please join me as I welcome Dr. Doyin Salami. Dr. Salami, welcome to our studio.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, first question, what do you think about the second Ogun State Investors Forum? What's your impression?
Oh, very impressive. Especially for someone like me who had the benefit of having participated at the Lagos Economic Summit, which ended in April. I think this has been certainly very well put together, and I hope it achieves all the objectives that the organizers have set out for it. But very impressive, very impressive.
Thank you. I've asked this question many times, and I'm going to ask it again. What does Nigeria have to do to attract investment? And the background to my question is the fact that I see a lot of effort that has been put in place in bringing or attracting that investment. We've got the Nigerian Investment Promotion Council, we've got the Ministry of Tourism, we've got the Ministry of Commerce, and so on and so forth. But in my own effort, in my own belief, the amount of effort, the returns is not commensurate with the effort. What is it? Where is the missing puzzle?
Well, I think we have to be very careful in coming to that conclusion, because Nigeria remains one of the favored foreign investment destinations in Africa. The top 3 nations are Nigeria, South Africa, and Egypt. And so,
on the continent?
Yes, on the continent. So to say that it's not commensurate, I would be maybe doubtful about that. In fact, when you think about it, 5 years ago, Nigeria was getting something like $4 billion of foreign direct investments annually. Now we are getting the better part of $8 billion of foreign direct investment annually. So I don't think we are doing that badly, especially given the magnitude of improvement that we have seen over the last 4 or 5 years. So I wouldn't conclude that the effort isn't yielding
The kind of results we're looking for.
and it's also pertinent to draw attention to the fact that foreign direct investment or investments from overseas, from countries outside of Nigeria, is still coming to Nigeria, even though the global economic environment is still very fragile. Typically, there is a 2-year lag between what happens abroad and what happens in terms of foreign direct investment into Nigeria. So if you still see that Europe is still struggling with growth, yes, America is doing quite well, thank you very much, but a number of countries from where investment typically comes to Nigeria are still, well, either stagnant in terms of growth or modest growth at best, and yet investment, exactly, in some cases actually in decline, and yet investment is still coming into Nigeria. I think we haven't done too badly given the global environment that we operate in.
And our growth rate is put at somewhere like 5 points.
Well, when you say growth rate, typically we mean the growth of output, and right now we're looking at about slightly over 7%.
It's up to 7 now.
Yes, and it's been that way for a couple of years. So we're not doing badly as far as growth is concerned either.
Okay, let me talk about the role of a sub-nation like Ogun State. And when we talk about let's talk about Mint, for instance, which is, I think,
the Mint countries.
The Mint countries that we talked about now. What is the role of a sub-nation?
Well,
for those who don't understand, perhaps you can first give us a background. What is Mint for those who don't understand?
Well, there have been a lot of classifications of what you would call, in the 1980s we used to call them developing countries. In fact, we used to have the terminology of LDCs, least developed countries. We've since moved. I suppose the more current appellations today are BRICS, which is BRIC, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and when you add the S, South Africa. Now we are hoping that at some point Nigeria will join. Then you've got the N11, which is those 11 countries that are seen or are expected to be the fastest growing and developing countries in the world. Fortunately, I can't give you the whole list of all of them. And then you have the Mint countries, which is MINT. So these are simply countries that are viewed. I think it's Malaysia,
Indonesia,
Malaysia, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Thailand. Yes, Malaysia and
Nigeria is the only one from Africa. All the others are from Southeast Africa.
Well, Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia.
Yeah. So yes, that's absolutely correct. So in other words, all of that simply speaks to Nigeria's prospects. That the world looks at Nigeria and sees a country that has prospects to grow and prospects to develop. Whether we will realize those prospects remains to be seen. However, I think the signs are already there, because when you look, Nigeria has now become the largest economy in Africa, $500+ billion of economic activity and growth, which is one of the fastest in the world. But there's a distinction to be made between growth and development, and I think our agenda now has to concurrently look at development as well as look at growth. And I would also draw attention to the reforms that we are seeing at the national level of some areas. Now, you speak about subnational government, and I think the key point to make about subnational government is that whilst national policy looks out for the country as a whole, subnationals are able to domesticate those policies. Because, for example, today we've been discussing agriculture and urban development. Now, there is a national policy around agriculture. The Agricultural Transformation Agenda is the framework for that policy. And much of that policy seeks to move away from subsidies towards markets. However, at the sub-national level, in other words, for a state like Ogun, which is a sub-national government, there are 36 of them plus the Federal Capital Territory in Nigeria, the policy would then be how can we enable the farmers in our jurisdiction benefit from the national policies? How can we help them to improve the productivity by improving seedlings, by some investment in mechanization, by providing the kinds of environment that make agriculture appealing to the young. As we were told today, the average age of the Nigerian farmer is 65 years old, which is a retirement age. So what that speaks to is a few years from now, the kind of productivity we are already complaining about as not being high enough will decline even further. So these are the kind, and when you talk about urban development, Ogun is one of the faster urbanizing states in Nigeria. Indeed, I think Nigeria is urbanizing. The urbanization growth rate is somewhere like 4%. Ogun is doing about 6% urbanization rate annually. Now, that is not very surprising, especially when you look at the role, its proximity to Lagos, and you look at the role that industry is beginning to play. I was surprised recently, just looking at some numbers, to see that the industry is almost 20% of Ogun State's economy, and you can't be too surprised. You see the cement factories, you see what's going on in the whole Songport, the industrial belt around Songport and all this. So you can understand that. But the real issue is that the sub-national government must be able to direct and facilitate the kind of growth that we are seeing and the kind of development that we're seeing. So that for me would be the key role of the sub-national. In other words, basically direct where things should go, have have an overview of how things link into one another and use that to direct, but also be able to facilitate. So as a panel member was saying today, there's no point building access routes. There is a greater point in building B and C routes which connect one town to another, one city to another, rather than building access roads into essentially what could be essentially private development.
Okay. Let me open this up. Would you like, gentlemen of the media, would you like to ask a question? So I don't monopolize Dr. Salah. Anybody would like to ask a question? Right. Okay. It's always talking economics, so that's why. All right. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, from the media hub of the second Ogun State Investors Forum taking place in Abeokuta, I have been speaking to Dr. Doyin Salami, a senior fellow at the Lagos Business School. Dr. Salami, it's a pleasure having you. And from all of us at the media hub, we'd like to wish you a pleasant trip back to your destination. And thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the media hub of the second Ogun State Investors Forum holding in Abeokuta, Ogun State. This afternoon I have with me yet another guest. And he's not a panelist, he's not a speaker, he's not a keynote speaker, but he's all the same someone that will hold your interest. Our guest is a retired professor of surgery. He is, the former chief medical director of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, although he initially worked at the University College Hospital in Ibadan. He later on went to South Africa, where he trained for 10 years, and he has come back, and as I said, he is retired. But that's not the interesting thing. The most interesting thing is that he has decided to take on another career at this, would I say, I won't call it old age, but superior age. He recognize and welcome Professor Okwelua Adekule. You're welcome, sir.
Thanks very much.
And it's nice having you at the media hub.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
So why are you at this forum? I mean, we're not talking health, we're not talking operations or surgery. So why are you at this forum?
Well, primarily because I'm retired. So I have plenty of time on my hands. Secondly, I live in Abeokuta. I was living in Ibadan for years, and I went to school in Ibadan.